Testing. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. For those of you who have come for the first time, welcome to our meeting. My name is Ed. I'm the pastor of this small congregation. So we're about to start our session for the afternoon. So I would like to introduce to you our director for the BLC program. She had been working hard for this program for a while. We did it last year, and we have done it again. So Shane, are you ready? Let me welcome Shane Kitania, our energetic leader and director of the program that we're doing here at Hawaiian Gardens. Come on in, Shane.
Thank you. I wear a lot of different hats, if you know me. When in church, I'm a youth leader, half of the church. I'm also the health director. To those of you who know me at work, I'm also by profession a registered nurse as well. So, but we learned that we use our gifts and our talents to serve only one person, and that's up there. So before we start, I want to welcome each and every one of you. For those of you who are here in person and those who are watching online, we welcome you to our Better Living Center here located in Hawaiian Gardens in California. And so today we have a slight change in our programming. We will be doing our medical panel for today, this afternoon, and tomorrow we will continue our lectures with Dr. Deal as we continue on in our series of how to reverse and understand modern killer diseases. So without further ado, I want to just ask all of us to bow our heads for a word of prayer, and we will continue on with our program. Lord, we thank you so much for bringing us here today. We thank you for keeping us safe. And now as we divulge into learning more about our diseases, the things that we struggle with, help us to understand and learn the proper way of living so that we can live for you. We ask these things in your name we pray. Amen. The first panelist that I want to introduce as they come forward here on the table, she is, let's just say, well known in the Loma Linda area. She has her Bachelor of Science in Nursing and is a registered nurse. Her history is that she is a cardiology nurse who worked at the Loma Linda Medical Center, also in the Heart Institute, currently working at the VA outpatient clinic in Rancho Cucamonga. She is also a clinical instructor in the Loma Linda University School of Nursing in health promotion. She is also a leader in the CHIP program in the Loma Linda University Church for over 15 years. That's a long time, 15 years. So she knows what she's talking about in regards to this program. She is happily married, and in her free time, she's a runner. She is a runner, and in fact, in her free time, or in some of the things that she joined, in 5K, for 5K runs, if you're familiar with that, she actually placed third in Loma Linda and second in Redlands in her age category. So please help me in welcoming our first panelist, Miss Nurse Mary Reynolds. Choose your mic. All right, for our second panelist for this afternoon, she is a medical doctor and a graduate from the West Visayan State University. She is in general practice, a diplomate of the lifestyle medicine, a fellow of American College of Lifestyle Medicine, master in management, certified health and wellness coach, nutrition counselor, and a CHIP facilitator, and very well known, and you see her as well supporting our program last year, this year, and many other times before. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Diane Villanueva. And of course, we have our guru, our forefront runner in lifestyle medicine, in this spearheading this entire program, over 100,000 clinical studies, participants in attesting to the testimony of how effective this practice is. He is as humble as somebody on the streets, but also very credible in his work, very down to earth. And please help me in welcoming none other than our very own Dr. Hans Deal. And he's my lifesaver too, so. All right, so what we're gonna do is, I will sit here. We will be doing our own medical panel, and there are questions that involves this program and the lifestyle that we currently are dealing with in our day and age. So what I'm gonna do is start off our panel with some background information as to what is this all about, because for some of us, this is our first time coming here, and we don't even know what this program is all about. So I actually want to call on a few individuals to help me in describing why are you in this program? What has this program done for you? And why do you continue being involved in this program? So the first person I want to ask is Phyllis, and she has a few words that she has to share for us. Why is she here? Why do you continue to be in this program?
Good afternoon. My name is, first let me give honor to God and the pastor and his first lady and the panel and the director. Well, this is my third U-turn program. I will be in here until I get off all this weight. Right now, I used to be on 25 medication. Did you hear me? 25. I'm only on one pill right now. My conditions has reversed. I stepped in the door March of 2021. I waited till the U-turn program came up. When it came up, I ran like a jackrabbit. I don't have any, I can see now. I used to can see for 44 years. I had to put my glasses on at night because I couldn't see at night. I better not be caught in the car without my glasses. I can see now. My eyes are reversed, 2020. I saw my eye doctor. She said, you don't need no more glasses, 0 prescription. That was just December the 14th of last year. And then I got my hearing back. I used to couldn't hear very well. I had to have some hearing devices to hear. I don't have to do that anymore. God gave me another gift. Right at Christmas, I hear. I used to have neuropathy in my feet. My diabetic doctor said when I graduated from my first U-turn program, August the 6th, but I saw him in July July 2022. He said, you got your feeling back in your feet. You don't have no more neuropathy. It sure is a change from last year. That's because I got into the group. They have a Zoom, which is very therapeutic, and the U-turn program.
You may not fully understand what neuropathy means. It's a very serious situation where you actually lose your feeling, and sometimes you have burning sensation in your feet. It usually is accompanied from diabetes, and oftentimes is the beginning of leading to some amputations of the feet. So this lady, no more neuropathy. This is unheard of in medicine.
I know.
You can talk to any physician. They say, well, we don't have any medications. We have nothing for neuropathy. It's just something you have to endure
For the rest of your life. Oh, let me tell you about my kidney. When I walked in the door, I was almost in stage 4 kidney failure. The lowest number I had was a 31. I have an 87 today.
No.
I'm in stage.
Wait, you have to really let people know what that really, really means, because this is revolutionary. When you say you were stage 4, that means you were just a few months away from getting kidney transplants or kidney dialysis, where you spend 4 times a week in 3 to 4 hours in getting your kidneys filtered, because your kidneys no longer work. She was just about close to that. When you get to stage 4, it's almost gone. It's over. Now it's no longer stage 4, but then she went to stage 3, which means it's getting better. Then she went to stage 2, and when you're stage 1, you're perfect. So you're seeing getting close to perfect.
I got an 87 score right now, from a 31 to an 87. All I need is a 90. I need 3 more points. I'll be in stage 1. My kidneys are normal. My ejection fraction, you know, I'm a heart patient, congested heart failure. My heart is reversing. I just had an echocardiograph. It went from 61 to 68. That's what my ejection fraction. You got to know your numbers. When you go to the doctor, you better know your numbers. They'll tell you you're all right and you're not all right. I'm just so grateful because I know this program from the bottom of my heart. It's nobody but God. I prayed for somebody to help me, and look, I landed in a place like this. I've been in a lot of programs. I never got any help like this. I'm motivated. I usually couldn't stand up no more than 10 seconds. Can you imagine? I can go up a hill, backwards, forward, and I let go of my walker. I've been on my walker for the second time. 217 is a March, last week in March, I let go of my walker. I can go up that hill without my walker. Only but God. But I'll pass these pictures around, but this is what I have all around my house. I said, Lord, help me call before the bite. Call God, because I was a big cheater. So when I look at this and I be praying, I don't take that bite. But if I don't pray, I might take the bite. Call God. These people, service above self. That's what they're doing. Remember that. Are you living out your purpose in life? Remember that. This is no joke. I go to Cedars-Sinai Hospital. They cannot help me. That's supposed to, you know, Cedars-Sinai is supposed to be one of the #1 hospital. Are you familiar with Cedars-Sinai? Where am I getting help from? From people who are doing service above self. They're doing what it says in the Bible. They're in here to help me. And I am called the Dragon Slayer. Yes. I got one more thing I want to do. One more thing. I'm getting myself ready. I'm a 5th degree black belt. I'm getting myself to go back on a tournament. I used to fight all the way around the world. I gave it up, but I'm going back. I'm going to wake them up. Bang, bang.
Tell us about your weight change.
Yeah, I was 413 pounds on a good day. Now I'm down to 317. And I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost a lot of inches. But one pill, and my heart is reversing. I have one of the best cardiologists at Cedars-Sinai. They see me all, the heart transplant, the lung transplant. They lost for words because I'm still big, according to them. But I got a golden heart because I'm here. You want to get help? Stay here. I don't care how hard it gets. Pray. I pray all the time. I had to give God. I pray a lot. I prayed to help. I have a nonprofit for 33 years. I've been helping others. I said, God, I need help. Look what I got. Look at my life coach there, my health coach, Dr. Hans Steele, my other coach, Dr. Diane, my other coach, Dr. Lily, his wife, and Mary. Boy, what a team. I'm going to run my race. Run yours.
Thank you, Phyllis. All right, so I hope that gives us an introduction as to what we've been all about, what we've been doing this past spring and slowly into the summer. So it's time for our questions. Are we ready for our questions?
Now, I want to first know, how did you achieve these revolutionary health?
Then from April of 2021 through July, the doctor reduced my oral medication from 25 to 10, and then he took me off the daytime insulin. And as of March the 15th, he took me off the 10 milligrams of Jordan. He said, your food is controlling your food is your medicine. Thy food is the medicine. It's true. And then I have to work out. Oh, yeah, I work out. I sure do. Got me a trainer that comes to my house. I prayed, and look how blessed I am. As of March the 21st, I had a trainer, but this trainer, she's a professional trainer. She comes to my house 4 days a week. Believe I'm sweating. I'm sweating up a storm. She said, you're getting so better every day. I said, I'm praying, and it's the food that I'm eating. That food gives you extra energy.
So,
It gives you extra energy.
so to summarize what you have said,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to food,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of leave the American standard diet sort of on the side,
Mm-hmm.
right? Lots of salt, a lot of sugar, a lot of fats, a lot of Pringles, a lot of Oreos, all these soda drops, right?
Yeah.
All the good tasting stuff. But something happened to your taste buds, right? Once you begin to eat foods as they come in nature, once you eat fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and you eat your yams, you eat your whole grains, something happens to your taste buds too, doesn't it?
Yeah, you lose taste. Things that used to taste good to you, it tastes nasty. You lose your taste bud. It comes automatically. And if you get off your program, you're going to be running to get back on your program the next meal because it makes you feel so good. I never felt so good in my life.
See, what we have learned here is that most of us, because of the culture that is driving our habits, our taste buds have become perverted. And because everything tastes sweet now, we think everything should taste sweet. And then you come into our program for a week, and we clear you up, right?
That's right.
And then we brainwash you.
No, I feel so good. I never felt this. I feel like I just weigh about 100 pounds inside. It seemed like they took my inside out, and I got a lighter body. I feel great. I can move around. I can punch. Pretty soon I'm going to be kicking my legs up. I'm going to go back to my tournament. I used to go all the way around the world, and I'd stop. I stopped, and I blew up like a balloon.
Thank you for driving all the way up here today and to be with us. We really appreciate your inspiration and the testimony that you're giving.
It's worth it. If I can go to Cedar Sinai and don't get no results, I come here and get results. Where do you think I'm coming? I'm coming right here. Right here.
Tell us what's happening on May 4.
Oh, May 4th. Tune in. Dr. Cardwell B. How you pronounce his last name? Esselstyn. He's a well-known doctor, renowned doctor all over the world. He's famous. He's going to be coming to our Zoom. We are honored to have him from May 4th. Remember that, on a Thursday. Log in at 6:45. We'll give you the login information. This guy is heavy. He's responsible for, he was a heart surgeon, a cardiologist, worked with the heart. He did the study, and what works is changing your diet to plant-based whole food. And he's reversing all these heart diseases. My heart is reversing. It's reversing. I'm going to have an athlete heart like I had before. That's guaranteed. But you got to stay on your program. You cannot give up. Don't give up.
Hello. Thank you, Phyllis, for that. So we're going to transition now into our question and answer portion. Are we ready for our questions today? So our first question that has been brought up is, we hear more often now about lifestyle medicine. What is it? And how is it different from the usual practice of medicine? So anyone on the panel can answer this.
So I can first answer this question because I'm a diplomat and a fellow of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. This organization is a medical specialty which started in the U.S. in 2004. And this has probably brought about as a result of the doctors trying to figure out the solution to the medical problems of their patients. So very sincere doctors looking for the answers. As we can see, so many diseases, like the chronic diseases, especially in the United States, have mostly of it, we feel like there's no cure. Like diabetes before, they say once you have diabetes, you will always have diabetes. And once you have this autoimmune disease, you will always have this autoimmune disease. And once you have hypertension, you will always have. And so many people are desperate for the, especially doctors who are very sincere to help their patients. So the group of people, the forefathers, and Dr. Deal is one of the forerunners of lifestyle medicine, using, as Hippocrates has said, food, make your food as your medicine. The father of medicine once said, very long time ago, he said, use your food as medicine. But what we have done now is opposite from what we should be doing, because we're using pills. They said, use pill for every ill. So if you have like hypertension, you give hypertension, right? Antihypertensive med. Then you get dizzy because sometimes your blood pressure will be low, then they give you something for dizziness instead of cutting back or changing your medicine. You know what I mean? So now you end up like a mile-long pills or list of pills. So what's the difference of lifestyle medicine from the conventional medicine is the conventional medicine, they use pills and surgery as the way of treating diseases. But lifestyle medicine use lifestyle interventions to correct the problems of chronic diseases, because chronic diseases, the root cause of this is what? Diet, the lack of exercise. All you have to do is to stop your mouth or choose the right food, right? But that's easy said than done, because you just can't stop, because we are all addicted to these kinds of foods. So it takes a lot of sciences, of interventions to help these kinds of people. So lifestyle medicine is the branch of medicine, a specialty, which targets the root cause of the disease, which is our lifestyle, helping you to change your lifestyle so that you can correct and reverse your diseases. And as we can see now, new research and studies have shown we can reverse heart disease, we can reverse hypertension, we can reverse diabetes. I have a patient, a newly diagnosed patient, around 40 years old, reversed diabetes in just 1 week, because he followed exactly what I told him, and he followed exactly the program. So it's not impossible, right? Because the word itself says, I always say to Dr. Deal, impossible means I'm possible. The word is I'm possible. So there is no such thing as impossible. I'm possible.
All right. That was good. Thank you, Doc.
Medicine has become a very commercial enterprise, and where the shareholders tell the administration what needs to be done, it lets the physicians know you got 10 minutes for your office visit and that's it. And 5 minutes of that, you just need to take all the information, put it in your computer. That means you have only 5 minutes to talk to the patient and really find out what's going on. And so what can you do in 5 minutes? So there's the pill. And you have now your little your iPhone, and which has been provided with a special algorithm, a special write-up provided by the pharmaceutical industries, how you diagnose the disease and how you take care of the disease. That little computer tells you what to do. This is what you prescribe. This person has high blood pressure, you take losartan. If it doesn't work in 3 months, you give another drug. Here's the drug. It's all prescribed, and we are totally unaware that the pharmaceutical industry is actually driving the treatment of these diseases to benefit them more than anybody else. Because why do you want to tell a person, take these medications for your high blood pressure, which is largely related due to obesity and high salt intake? Instead, the pharmaceutical industry says, we have a drug that takes the salt out of your body. You don't have to change anything. We'll just pull it out of you. Well, but you mentioned their side effects, right? Besides, you're paying through the nose for these kind of things. So we need to begin to focus differently. We need to recognize that medicine can do some wonderful things, even for chronic disease, and make you feel better, but it does not really cure the disease, right? But you are in a powerful position where you're the chairman of the board of your own health, where you can, through intelligent self-care, you can actually turn this disease around because you are changing the foundation of it. Are you with me there? Yeah. Okay.
And have you noticed that if you keep eating your chips and salty food, you take your medicine for hypertension, your hypertension never goes away. Did you notice? You still have hypertension. You would say, oh, your blood pressure is normal, but some people have normal blood pressure with the pills. But when they stop the pill, the blood pressure goes up. That's not treatment. That's not cure. That's just controlling the symptoms. So the true treatment is you don't have to take a pill. Your blood pressure is fine. But if you take a pill and your blood pressure is fine, but you take a pill, that's not cure. So and I know a lot of hypertensives here. So notice that you keep eating salty food. You take your blood pressure pill, but you keep eating your salty food, and you're stressful, and eat still the food that you want to eat, which is not good, high in saturated fat, high in cholesterol, your blood pressure will never go down.
And yeah, one thing, people like a quick fix, to fix their weight. And here they want a bypass surgery as a thing. I want to find out that they can't control their appetite afterwards. Now they're back to where they were and still bother with weight. They are not educated by how to eat, proper diet, and the cycle goes around in vicious circle. Now, we are educated what foods are good for us. God's food, natural grains and fruits and vegetables, no greasy foods, and medications. Medications in this world is flooded on television. They say, please call your doctor for this pill and that pill. We have so much vision on TV. In United Kingdom and Europe, they do not allow such commercial aired to blackmail people how to live with medications around this world, and we need healthy food as medicine.
I would like to comment on the gastric bypass, right? You noted, and they say, oh, I lost because I had a gastric bypass. Do you know what what happens before gastric bypass? They let you fast or they let you lose weight first. And then afterwards you say, oh, you lose weight, but you will gain back. They won't operate on you if you don't lose weight for certain pounds. Then they let you lose weight, and then they do the operation, and afterwards, then you said you lose weight, right? It was actually from the dieting before the gastric bypass, and then in your stomach, right? They make it smaller, so that you will eat less, but your stomach has the capacity to expand. So after that, you keep eating, it will expand, and the same thing, you will gain weight if you don't change anything. So gastric bypass may sound very high-tech, but I've seen so many side complications from gastric bypass that I'm scared to mention that to my patients. Gastric bypass is not a joke. It's a big operation. Some people die from it, because from sepsis, because when you are obese, your wound will not heal. If you're diabetic and you're obese, your abdominal wound will not close, it will not heal. They end up like having infections and open the tummy, and it's really scary. So think about that. You have a natural way of losing weight, or open, but without changing, you will still gain that weight.
But it does a lot of good, doesn't it, to the surgeon? What does the bypass cost? What does the bypass cost? Anybody knows? Oh, that would be nice. No. When you look at bypass of the heart, you're looking at $175,000. When you're looking at bypass of the stomach, you're probably also looking at about $100,000 plus if everything goes well. So you know, it's very beneficial to the providers of the services, but it's not really helping you as a patient all that much.
And healthcare is adulterated, it's perverted, and because of all the industries, the companies, they lobby, even from medical school to pharmaceuticals. They have this power to control the education of doctors. That's why they're not educated with this nutrition, with this exercise, and other things. And they are more educated on surgery, the pill, and the quick fix. So sometimes the doctors are either because they're not comfortable, because they don't know, because I went to school, but I didn't have any nutrition. I just, after medical school, now that I learned, because I know it's powerful, it's helpful, so that's why I did my own study about it. Went to school for some nutrition. So, but actually we have not a good background on nutrition. We have zero subject on nutrition. So we can't advise. And if you're also, most of the doctors, or a lot of them, are big. So in the study that shows that when they are big, and they smoke too, or they ate fatty food, they are hesitant to advise their patients. So that's one of the things that should be corrected as well.
That's very true. I've only worked with one doctor who is, well, now three doctors now who are actually fit and who actually is preaching what they teach. So
I want to say something about that surgery, that bypass, what do we call it? That gap, when they cut your stomach open, they were trying to, all my specialists at Cedars-Sinai, I got about maybe 20 of them, they were trying to push that on me. I said, no, you got to get to the core of the problem. Why I'm this big, you know, once you get to the core problem, start addressing your lifestyle. You know, what are you eating, Phyllis? That's what I was telling them. Now I'm in a program because they get into the core of why I'm eating, and I have to change my lifestyle. It's about choices. Do I want to keep eating and get bigger and bigger? Because if I told them, if I get that surgery, by the time I get out of the recovery room, I'm going to have me a case of donuts right here. You know, I'll just be honest, because it's not even a fix. Because they didn't even tell you the complication that goes with those surgeries. You have to take supplements for the rest of your life, and I heard those supplements are very expensive. I like the program I'm in right now, because I don't nobody have to cut on my stomach.
all right, let's move on to our next question. It seems that kidney dialysis centers are emerging everywhere. Why? Does that mean we have an increase in diabetes?
There's an increase in the wrong kind of foods that people are eating. They're having high protein diet that wreck their kidney. That's the number one thing, too much protein. A lot of people are thinking, oh, I'm a macho, you know, and building up my muscles by eating a lot of protein. And too much protein is harmful. We don't need that much protein. And plant-based diet, you get all your protein from the beans and vegetables that you eat and the grains. And that's the healthy one. You don't go overboard for sure when you're on plant-based. But when you're taking protein powders and all kind of meat, just stuffing your face with meat, it's awful. That's why there's an increase in dialysis center with people that can control their own diet.
There are many causes of kidney failure. One of them is hypertension. If you have long-standing hypertension uncontrolled, that could ruin your kidney. And the number one cause of renal failure in the world, or chronic kidney disease, or stage 4, or going to dialysis, is diabetes. And diabetes has been increasing. And from the lecture of Dr. Deal, we learned that it's because from the long time ago, diabetes was unheard of or slow, but it's now increasing because of the food that we eat. People are getting bigger and bigger. Our portions are getting bigger, you know. The drink that we drink, the small is like before, the small now is the large before. Now we're drinking a lot of sugary food, and this all can ruin the kidneys. And do you know, have you asked people who have done dialysis how they feel to be in that dialysis center 3 to 4 times a week for 3 hours? Well, one patient described it as like running a marathon. So a marathon is like how many miles? 26 miles. Running a marathon, that's how you experience when you have dialysis. And then after you're done, you're very tired, right? You sleep, you recuperate. Then it's time again for dialysis. So what kind of life is that? So that's something that we can think about. We control our weight, we control our diabetes, or go to that dialysis center. Because you know what is, before knowing lifestyle medicine, I always see patients, you know, you start with diabetes, then they become blind, or they lose their foot, you know, and then they can, after a few years, they will have dialysis, and then after that, they die. That's the story of the diabetic patient if they don't control the diabetes. But it's within our control. We have to control it because we have proven, science have proven that diabetes can be reversed. And Phyllis is the living example of that.
Yeah, you mentioned that diabetes is becoming more and more prevalent, and with that you also have to worry about the consequences affecting your kidneys. When you look at the prevalence rates of diabetes in this country, World War II, it was very difficult to find diabetes anywhere. It was difficult to find diabetes after World War II. Since then, it has increased by 700%. We have 7 times more diabetes today as a rate, adjusting for the population changes. 7 times more. Just in the last 30 years, we have seen an increase in diabetes by 3 times. We have 3 times more diabetes today than 30 years ago. And of course, when you look at the causes, you begin to realize that, well, you know, 3 out of 4 people in America are overweight and obese. And you know, those that feel a little bit chubby, they just ignore it because they think it's normal, because everybody else is large. No, I'm not overweight. No, look, I'm just like everybody else. We are all overweight, 3 out of 4 people. And many of them are obese, which obese is much, much more than being overweight. So whenever you have to worry about extra weight, you have to worry about you're shortening your lifespan. I mean, I think I told you that for every pound that you weigh more than you should weigh for your height and for your bone size and for your gender, for every pound that you weigh more than you should, ideally, you're giving up 1 month of life. So if you're weighing 50 pounds more, which many people today think, well, it's okay, I'm just like everybody else. 50 pounds, that's 50 months of life lost, that's 4 years. But that's not all. When you are extra weight, you have to worry about the diabetes. Diabetes and overweight, they're cousins. I mean, I can diagnose a diabetic from miles away. It's very easy. I just look at their weight and have a pretty good idea. I'm pretty 90% sure that I know that person, based on the circumference, probably diabetic. Now, in the old days, we were taught if a person is overweight, is over 60 years of age, you better check for diabetes. Now, we have to check for people that are overweight and 50 years of age, 40 years of age, 30 years of age, 20 years of age, 15 years of age, they're diabetics because they're obese. We used to think it's something that happens when you're old age. No. We need to face the culture and what the culture is doing to us. Eat, drink, and be merry. The doctors will take care of you tomorrow.
All right, so
By the way, I gave you that figure on 700% increase in diabetes since World War II, and 300% increase in the last 30 years. I gave it to you particularly because it's on the test, and I want you to score it correctly, because many of you missed that one, and it makes me look bad as a teacher.
all right, our next question. With all the new surgeries, transplants, and stents, plus medications, has the death note from cardiovascular diseases gone down?
I say it's gone up. And with all the stent and surgeries, is all due to lifestyle, what you put in your mouth. That created that problem. I know I have patients that have to go for angiogram and found out a lot of their cardiac vessels are blocked, more than 2 or 3 or 5. And the next thing, it was suggested surgery, of course, to undo the thing. Once they go for surgery, nothing was told about how to correct their diet. Just put them on more medication to feel better, from heart attack to blocked arteries, and surgery. You are sent home. I just say to my patient, that's not a way to go. Going home and eat the same food again and have more problems. And it's just a medication feeding them, and they're not learning how to eat.
Now, you used to be a cardiac nurse. You would take care of those patients. But it's difficult to get the word out to the patients, right? Because a patient doesn't want to listen to 20, 30, 40 hours of education. They just want to have 15 minutes. I need to get to a golf game and this and that. And so, and there's no one in the hospital that really oftentimes makes the time or has the knowledge to teach the patients that, right?
The doctors are not well educated in nutrition, so they only know how to talk to people about the best medication there is, the best procedure to correct your chest pain, and just go home and come back. I'll see you then. Take more aspirin if you have chest pain. and it's just not really correct the thing. Now, I have learned more about reversing from doing the CHIP program, and I have taken care of the same patients, and they came to my program, and they say, Mary, I used to have chest pain, angina, and I know the doctor that they see because I work with that doctor. And he said he have learned how to eat properly and being on plant-based, and and exercise. And he just told me after graduation from the CHIP program that he's no longer having any more chest pain. And I say, hallelujah. and he was, his life was extended, and he was so happy. And his niece and nephew came up to me and say, those were the best years of his life. And he went back to South Africa and carry on with the plant-based diet.
Let me just reinforce that people don't really understand this. Only in 10% of all the bypass patients can we show that they live longer after bypass surgery. Only in 10%. 40% of all the bypasses are closed and clogged up again within 18 months. But don't worry. Your surgeon friend will be glad to do another bypass for $150,000. Do you see? If you need to bypass, sometimes we need to have a bypass. Sometimes it is essentially life-saving under emergency circumstances. But you need to tell people, no more smoking. You got to get on a treadmill. Gradually exercise every day. You got to get away from animal products, from milks and cheese and eggs and fish. These are all cholesterol-carrying foods, and they're also high in saturated fat, and they cause the liver to make extra cholesterol, which then gets inside the arteries and clogs it up. So we need to have a way to be really, really clear after bypass surgery what the patient has to do if you want to maintain it open. I have one patient. He came to me some 37 years ago, and he said, Hans, what am I going to do? He had a bypass. He was a millionaire. He wanted to live. He was a very generous person. He wanted to do some good. He said, are you prepared to make some changes? Diet. Get yourself a treadmill. Put it in your office. Every day 1 hour. Get your wife some flowers. Be a nice guy. Yes, sir. He is now 98 years of age. I saw him a few weeks ago. Paul just loves his lifestyle because somebody told him after the bypass, you can make it last, but you got to be really careful and very clear in your decisions that you make. I like that idea about you pray before you bite.
Also, in the U.S. In 2018, we spent about $2.1 trillion for our health care to cure to treat all this diabetes, hypertension. Now, instead of going down because of all the discoveries, with all the bypasses that we're doing, all the exotic pills that we're making, and all these technologies, robotic surgeries, and everything, do you think the healthcare spending went down? It went up. 2021, it went up to $4.1 trillion. So there must be something wrong here, right? If what we're doing is right, it should go down. Diabetes should go down, hypertension should go down. But what are we doing? We are doing the same thing that's not helping us. That's why it's time to correct the root cause of the disease. And the root cause of the disease is the way we eat, lack of exercise, and all this, all the things that we're teaching you. So for bypass, we put, because there's a blockage, right, of the artery, we correct that. But patients, maybe it's not well explained by health professionals, but it is never permanent. That once you correct, there's a stent in there. If you don't change your diet, you thought you're gonna live longer. No, you're gonna have another bypass, and that's another bypass. Yeah, and stents. But your body can handle only so much. Like Bill Clinton, right? You heard the story of Bill Clinton? He had a first bypass, and then he ate all this, what's this, quesadilla, and all this yummy food, and then after like a year or so, he had another bypass because it's clogged. So without changing our lifestyle, the diet that we have, we will our body can handle only so much. Even if we have a lot of money to do the bypass every time, your body can give up because you know what happens during surgery. They open you up, they give you a lot of medications, they paralyze your, sedate you and everything, general anesthesia, and all these have effects in your body, and your body will only handle so much. And who knows, the next time you have bypass, you might not make it. So those are the bad, potential complications of these surgeries.
Let me make a comment on the progression of heart disease, right? You thought maybe we should have less deaths today because we have all these interventions. Heart disease was unheard of at the turn of the century, 1900. They couldn't find it. There was nothing there. And then suddenly it just exploded. And at the end of World War II, every second death in America was related to a mystery killer. And nobody knew what it was. It attacked the heart, and the heart gave up, and the person died. There was chest pain. They opened up the chest. The heart muscle was turning blue, lack of oxygen. And they said, this is a strange disease. Every second death is due to this disease that attacks the heart. So they call it heart attacks. They didn't know what it was. It's a mystery killer. Every second death. And then some famous researcher said, we need to do some research on this. He spent some time with the government to get some money from NIH, some research funds. And then he had this physician visiting him from Italy. And so they started talking about this mystery killer that was responsible for every second death in America. And the man from Italy said, a killer like that attacking the heart? Never heard of it in Italy. There's nothing like that in Italy. And this researcher was totally stunned. He said, what do you mean? No mystery killer like this in Italy? No. Well, then why do we have it? And then he met a physician from Japan. He asked them, any mystery-killing diseases there attacking the heart? No, none. And then he met a physician from Finland. And he said, do you have this mystery killer in Finland? He said, yes. As a matter of fact, we have widows that are 45 years of age because their husbands die at 50 years of age. They're lumberjacks, so they have lots of exercise, but they have a very, very rich diet. It's all dairy and fats and butter, and we don't get any vegetables because in Finland you have 6, 7, 8 months winter time. So we need to make some changes, and we have a lot of salt coming into our system, so we have lots of high blood pressure. Ooh. So these widows actually began to reach out to the government and said, you got to help us. We don't want to be widows. We lose whole villages here in Finland. And so they found a young researcher, a doctor, that said, I heard some other reports from this doctor that is talking about Italy and Japan and so on, and maybe we should take a look at their diets. And his medical colleagues laughed at this young doctor and said, don't be ridiculous. Diet has nothing to do with these diseases. We have these diseases here because we're so close here in Finland to the Russian border. And we're so scared of the Russians. Stress, right? And that's why we have it. But, you know, this young physician was willing to endure the ridiculing by his colleagues. Oh, he's just a young whippersnapper. What does he know about these things? But he did. So he went to these villages, and he began to change the villages. And it ultimately became a whole program for all of Finland. Today, Finland has one of the lowest heart disease rates in the world because they made these changes. Heart disease dropped by 87% in Finland over the next 40 years because people are willing to make some changes. Now, I mentioned to you 1900, difficult to find. World War II, every second death. Then you come to 1985. Heart disease is declining. It's no longer 50%, it's now only 35%, because people have begun to make some changes. They changed their milk to low-fat milk and skim milk, all these kind of things, cutting back on the salt, and so on. And so today, 2023, heart disease is at the level of 28%. So we have gone from 0 to 50, then to 35. Now it's 28% of our deaths are due to cardiovascular disease, heart disease, and strokes. Okay? So we have a long way to go. And mind you, what really troubles me is that many people, they may die later in life because of all the interventions. But the last 20 years are miserable years. They're spent in nursing homes. They spend at home. They spend in hospital care. What you want is not just to live longer. You want to live healthier longer. And I always tell my patients, I want you to die younger, as late as possible.
Our next question. My 15-year-old son asked me, how could he build more muscle? Some of his male classmates challenged him. What is the best way?
How to build more muscles? By exercising, of course, instead of zero in on high protein type of diet, and even beyond plant-based diet would be very helpful. And it's a way of learning how to enjoy certain exercises, aerobics, and other activities. And you're building muscles by that, push-ups, sit-ups, and join Phyllis trainer. Yes, and have an exercise trainer like that will really build muscles.
Let me just insert here. You are very, very fortunate, Phyllis, that you have a trainer that understands that. Muscles are not being built in the kitchen by eating more protein. That's what trainers usually tell their clients. You want to build muscle? Eat more protein. Not so. And so you're absolutely right. Today, there's a lot of misinformation in the exercise field, in the gymnasium. When you get a trainer, they will always, it seems almost always, recommend more protein powders, buy this, eat this, and so on. It's not done. You've got to do it through exercise. Yes?
So, I'm actually considering myself an athlete myself, and I was actually watching the show called Game Changers on Netflix, and there's this big weightlifter guy, and they always call him Oxman, or he's strong as an ox, and they always ask him, how many steaks do you eat, or how many meat do you eat? He said, you just call me strong as an ox, right? Well, what does an ox eat? Ox eats grass, plant-based foods. But on top of that subject, weightlifters tend to eat whey protein. What is the pros and cons of whey proteins?
Whey protein is out of dairy. Yes, and when you hear the word whey, it's from dairy, a cow or goat, and again, that's dairy product. Yeah.
There is an additional question to that. What is your opinion on if we're not using dairy protein shakes. What is your opinion on vegan protein shakes? Is it safe?
There's vegan protein shakes like adding nuts and having soy that has some protein in it.
So I have a mother who came to me and asked about the son is 15 years old and he wants to build muscles. The son is kind of skinny, so you want to be, you know, when you're a teenager, you want to be really impress the girls, your body. They're very particular with their body, so they want to work out. And so the son is buying like protein, you know, like whey proteins and all these proteins. And I look into it. And actually, these proteins that they're selling, you know, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. This protein supplements. This protein can damage the kidneys because it's too much protein, and this can cause cancer as well. So just be careful because when they thought that they can build muscles through eating proteins, it's more of exercise and the right food, the right protein, which is plant-based, which is not harmful to the kidneys. Yeah, you can have as much beans you want, but it not damage it will actually help. But artificial proteins that you buy as supplements, they will damage your kidneys.
I want to add to that. Not only will it damage your kidneys, but it also damage your liver. Especially if you're not educated on how to balance it with proper intake of water, it will be highly concentrated. Therefore, your liver will also be injured in the process.
Can the same thing be said about BCA supplements as well as the pre-workout supplements? And what are some alternatives to BCAs and pre-workout supplement?
Whatever supplement, I have worked at the VA outpatient clinic. These veterans love to build their muscles. So they come to me and say, oh, I've been having this pain and I just don't feel well. And I said, what have you been eating or drinking? Protein shake. I said, why are you taking protein shakes and supplements? Well, I want to build up my muscle. And here he is. He's having side effects from it. And I check his blood pressure is a little over, and I did an EKG on him because he was having some chest pain. So I go to my doctor and discuss things with him. And then I go back and say, yeah, it's the protein supplement or whatever other supplement you're taking is creating that. And yes, it has some side effect. It has some caffeine in it to make you do more. And you're just hyper. Yeah.
Let me, you mentioned that plant proteins are helpful, animal proteins are not. And let me just maybe mention to you why that is, okay? The plant proteins are made up of amino acids, as are the animal proteins. They all have amino acids. They're building blocks. Like you have the alphabet from A to Z, you can form words. The same thing is true with amino acids. These are building blocks, and you can make enzymes and proteins and all kinds of things out of them. Now, the plant protein has a certain kind of amino acids in contrast to the animal protein. Animal protein has what they call sulfuric acid in it. And sulfuric acid makes the body more acidic. Whenever you have more acidic elements in the body, you're also much more likely to have to worry about cancers. The plant proteins are what we call are alkaline. They're the opposite of acidic, and they handle things totally differently, and that's why the kidneys are not being stressed out.
And there are also people who are asking about citrus foods, right? Citric acid. So, but wonder of wonders, citrus that has acid, the effect in the body is alkaline. Lemon is acidic, but when you eat it in the body, the effect is alkaline. So so that's helpful because acidic environment. That's why they said supplement has no side effects. It's all healthy. Vitamins are all healthy. No, they have side effects. They can ruin your organs. And like vitamin C, taking too much vitamin C without you don't need it, but you just take vitamin C because we hear from people, we see in the TV or ads that it's helpful. Just take it. It makes actually your blood acidic, and that's a very good foundation for cancer. So be careful.
So one of the questions to that actually is, so since if you are transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet, is it still necessary to take vitamins? Do you get the right amount of vitamins just from eating a whole food plant-based diet?
Eating a plant-based diet, we have this myth before that if you don't eat meat, you are weak or you lack vitamins. Actually, yeah. Iron.
Become anemic.
Become anemic, or anemic or weak or something. But that is not true. Studies have shown that actually people who are plant-based are healthier, stronger, smarter, taller, because they say, oh, you don't eat meat, you'll be short. You drink milk. Because in the TV we see, oh, they grow tall because they drink milk, they become stronger and all this. Your bones will be strong because you drink milk. No, the studies have shown that plant-based children are taller than their peers. And at the start, before 10, they are shorter, but they catch up and actually taller after 10 years old. And for that, the only thing that they found that we need to take as plant-based people, vegan, are vitamin B12. Because we get it from the soil, right? And our soil now is what? What do we put in our soil that kills those bacteria that makes vitamin 12 in our intestines? We put pesticide, herbicides, and they kill them. That's why we don't get it. So that's the only thing, and we can take like 250 micrograms up to 1,000 micrograms of vitamin B12. And it's also good to check the level. Not just check, don't just take any vitamins if your levels are not low.
I just want to say something. With plant-based, you guys talk about muscles. From August of last year until March, you look at my picture in August when I graduated from here, my first graduation, in March, it was like, people think I lost 150 pounds. I'll show you on my phone. They said, you dropped a person, but because I'm eating plant-based, it transforms your body. It makes you look muscular. It makes you look smaller. Just from August of last year until March, people said, look like you lost 150 pounds or something, or a person. And I'll show you guys later of the picture and let you guys see what plant-based will do to you. You're going to get your muscles. And another thing, you see the skin I'm wearing right here? I used to put it right here. I cannot put it right here anymore. I have a freestyle lever for diabetics. Because if I put it right here, because I'm building muscle, I break the needle. So I'm telling you, you will build natural muscles. They'll look really good.
All right, we're running out of time, and I'll just have one question from the audience. Does anybody in the audience have a question that they want to ask?
Speaking of this, what do you call that? This plant-based vegetables. May I know the difference or any difference between the organic and inorganic, please? And also, this I'm acidic, so I'm taking this Ester C. That is plant-based vitamin C. Is it okay for me? Thank you. That's two questions.
The question was, you have Ester C and organic versus organic. Okay. Organic, this organic and non-organic, I think that was just develop because we have been doing pesticides and everything, so people are very conscious with health, right? So we want to do organic. And what's the difference of the organic and the organic? Is that the question? Oh, okay. So when you say organic, it may not be zero pesticides, but there are some, but at least less, very much less than the ones that is not organic. Because as you know, because of we need to make money, right? So farmers have to really do do everything to make the production more, and so they can gain more. Their goal is to gain, not for health, to gain. So that's why they have these pesticides, and that's why GMO was made. GMO was done, because GMOs are like the seed itself has pesticides in it, so that it won't the pests will not eat it. So actually, GMOs will survive even if how much pesticides you will pump on these plants or the food that we eat. That's a good thing, right? Because they will live. But the bad thing is they can put a lot, and then we eat those food, like the berries have a lot. What kind of food? Usually the berries have a lot. The greens ones, the kale and everything. The cruciferous vegetables have a lot of pesticides. They won't survive if there are no pesticides, because they are really favorites of the pests or the pests or whatever that eats them. So of course organic is very, very it's much more better than the non-organic, but it's more a little expensive, and we don't just make sure you know that it's not like zero pesticides. There's some, because of the soil. It's all like corrupted now, like the soil and everything that we do, there's something chemical in it. And about the vitamin C, you said, any supplement, for me, my own mantra is like, if it's made in the lab, it's no good. If it's saw it in the tree, that's a good one. So instead of just taking those, why don't we drink lemon juice or lemon tea, or ginger tea, or something like that. It's more natural than just from taking it from the laboratory. That's already manufactured.
How about eating more potatoes? They're high in vitamin C too. Surprise, isn't it? Yeah, it's really. In general, if you can afford the extra money to go organic, it's worth it. Okay. If you are kind of a little bit on the edge financially, try to do the best you can. But if you have some extra money, go organic. It's becoming less and less it's more affordable now than 10, 15 years ago, and it's becoming more of the in thing to do, because we all recognize there's probably some improvements in taste in some of these fruits, for instance, when you have bananas, for instance. And there's probably also much less harm to the soil. Okay.
And the famous gastroenterologist, Dr. Bulsiewicz, said the mantra is, if the skin is thin, eat organic for the win. If the skin is thick, you don't have to be organic. So like the berries, you eat that directly, right? But if it's oranges, you can peel it, so you can buy not organic. So if you eat the skin or the leaves, eat it organic. But if not, then just avocados, you open it, there's a skin, you can choose not to be organic.
May I have one more question, please? So regarding this, we've mentioned these legumes like beans and some other seeds, which is I said that it's rich in protein. But there's a side effect there, it's rich in uric acid. Well, can you please explain that to us?
I would suggest to soak your dry beans. Once you soak them overnight soaking, really take care of it. And sprinkle some baking soda in it, and it will release more gas. So let it soak all night long. And then the next morning or next day, you could drain the water away and put new water in. And you're ready to prepare your beans. And they cook easily. And you won't feel that much gas.
Oh, I think the question is about uric acid, right?
Oh.
The side effects of having uric. Actually, according to studies, the uric acid from the animal products are the one that cause uric acid, not from the beans or other plant-based. No, because I have patients and I've tried it. It's the meat. Yeah, and then, but sometimes you have sensitivities that you will have some pain. But you just have to stop eating for like a week and then try again, and then it will not affect you. Because they are very nutritious, a lot of vitamins and minerals, so don't skip beans.
Let me make a plug for beans, okay? Beans should be eaten every day. And if you're afraid that these are antisocial foods, don't worry about it.
Right.
In this group here, we all have gas, and so nobody notices it anymore. No, actually, it's not so much that there's something in beans. What is in beans, they're very high in fiber, and Americans have minimum amounts of fiber in their diet. We take in about 10 grams, we should have 50 or 60 grams, and fibers are found very easily in beans. So when you follow my advice, and you eat beans, right, regularly, you have turbulence. Before you know it, you know, your boss is always saying, open up the windows, please. It's because the fiber is not digested very properly because it's such an overload coming in. If you are concerned about gas, just introduce beans gradually, and after 3-4 weeks, you have nothing to worry about anymore. You can do some of the things that you suggested about changing the water. That will help too. But the biggest thing is give your body a chance to adjust to the fiber which the body desperately needs. Okay? And when you have fiber in your diet, you know what happens to the bathroom? You no longer have to stay outside the door and wait for the person to finish their business. You go in, you go out, you're done.
Quick and easy. Okay, last one, just last one.
I have a question. Do you suggest soaking your non-organic food, I mean fruits or vegetable, in white vinegar, in water with white vinegar in it, to take out some of the pesticide that is, accumulated in that while it's growing?
Well, I know for missionaries that go overseas and preparing their meals and buying vegetables, of course, you could do that, or clean it with some vinegar or so.
Yeah, I usually use apple cider vinegar. You can use the cap full, just soak it in the fruits or the vegetables that you're going to prepare. Let it sit there for 10 to 15 minutes, and you'll actually see all the gunk that comes off from the fruit itself or the veggies. So that's what I use. I use apple cider vinegar to clean it. All right, so I know we have a lot more questions, but we have gone over time. We want to invite you to our lecture tomorrow. We will continue on, so you can actually bring those questions that you have tomorrow at our next location, which will be at Southgate location. So let us give a hand for our panelists. As a token of our appreciation, the BLC team has wanted to give Dr. Diane and Nurse Mary something for you both. as an appreciation for being here and always supporting us in all of our endeavors. So, you guys can open it if you want. Yeah.
Well, look at that, right?
So we thank you for being here with us. And so before I end up our discussion for today, tomorrow once again we are meeting at the Southgate location at what time? 2 o'clock. So please be there on time and bring your writing materials, bring your folders, and we will continue on with our lecture with Dr. Hansdale. And we have our second cooking demonstration, which is going to be very, very delicious. She has prepared it for us. And then again, this is our social medias. If you haven't seen them already, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for other updates for announcements. Okay, so before we end today, let's have a word of prayer with Pastor Ed, and then we will dismiss and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Lord. Let's rise and let's have our closing prayer. Our Father, thank you for the day. Thank you for this information that we have just enjoyed and heard this afternoon. Thank you, Lord, for these wonderful people that you have used, Father God, to inform us. That way we can be able to do better in our living, live longer, healthier than before. Right now, Father God, as we are dismissed from our meeting this afternoon, we pray for your continuous presence and provision and protection be upon us, and everybody get home safe and sound, and we'll see each other again tomorrow morning, in the afternoon. Thank you, Lord, for hearing our prayers. Blessings for everybody today, I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much, Dr. Hans and Dr. Diane and our sister nurse, Mary. Yes, thank you. And husband, Dr. Where's our Dr. Lee, yes.